Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. It is the weekly news roundup, the show where we sit down on a Friday and we talk about all of the latest Everton news from the last 7 days or so. Carlo Ancelotti has had his pre-game press conference today ahead of tomorrow's Premier League fixture against Arsenal. He has given us an injury update on a number of players, including Seamus Coleman, who returns and is available for selection tomorrow. Fantastic news, of course. Seamus has been a massive miss to this Everton team. His leadership, his quality. Obviously, we've lacked a natural fullback for the last couple of games, but that hasn't particularly been a bad thing. Mason Holgate has filled in at right back and been absolutely excellent. Likewise with Ben Godfrey over on the left-hand side. So although it's fantastic news that Seamus Coleman has returned to fitness, will he start the game against Arsenal tomorrow? I don't know. Personally, for me, look, I very much adopt it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And our back line certainly isn't broken at the moment. And I think Carlo should keep with the same back line as that has beat two very, very good teams and kept two good clean sheets over the last couple of games. But Carlo may opt to put Seamus Coleman back in there for the leadership and the experience. But anyway, it's a positive that he is back to fitness, of course. You never like to see players injured. You never like to see players out on the sideline. So it's fantastic news that we have Seamus Coleman back. Carlo also confirmed that James Rodriguez will miss the game against Arsenal tomorrow. He is slowly recovering with his and getting on with his rehabilitation after his calf injury. Carlo was asked directly what's going on with James, how come he's missed the last couple of games now. He was only meant to miss a week or so, but he's missed 3 or 4 games now, and Carlo basically said yes, he's missed that many games because we're playing a game pretty much every 2 days. So whereas James might have missed 3 or 4 games through his injury, that's because those 3 or 4 games have been played within a 1 week period, whereas usually you're only playing 1 game a week. So effectively it's only been a week. He said that there's nothing to worry about, it's nothing too serious. He's just sort of getting back into training and they're doing it day by day. He won't be available for tomorrow's game. The hope is he'll be available for the Carabao Cup fixture against Manchester United next week. Carlo also confirmed that Fabian Delph is still out and struggling with a hamstring injury, and he provided an update on Allan. That was the first question he was asked in today's press conference. What's going on with Allan? How serious is it? Do we know yet? And he basically said, look, we don't know about timescales. It's a hamstring injury, and he is going to be out for a few weeks at least. Hopefully it's not too long. He was asked whether Allan will need an operation or any surgery on it, and he said no, he won't need an operation. However, he will probably be out for a few weeks, obviously because of the hamstring injury. So again, a little bit of positive news in regards to Allan. It's always the worst feared, isn't it, whenever you see a player go down, especially with a hamstring injury, and you know what can be. So for Carlo to come out today and say, look, we don't really know where we are in terms of timescales, but he doesn't need an operation, and hopefully within the next few weeks or so we should start to see him getting back into training and stuff. It's a positive out of a really, really negative situation, but we know we're going to badly miss Allan. We knew as soon as he pulled up against Leicester that he was going to be out for at least a few weeks, and he is going to be sorely missed in this Everton team because he's been brilliant over the last couple of days or so. Everton have also announced a new partnership. They have said that they are delighted to expand their international partnership portfolio and announced South American gaming brand RushBet.co as our official betting partner in Colombia. Again, Everton getting their name out worldwide now, constantly announcing these partnerships with companies from all over the world for various different things. We've seen sports drink partnerships being announced recently. We've seen Italian food company partnerships, and of course now Rush Bet, which is a Colombian betting company and partner, and they will be our official gaming brand in South America, which is again fantastic. Look, we said specifically when we signed James Rodriguez that Everton really, really need to start getting the name out there. It was brilliant that the James announcement was seen by, millions of people all over the globe, and in Colombia, in Miami, in New York, but we really, really needed to act upon that. Then we needed to make sure that wasn't just a one-off thing, and then people go back to their normal everyday lives, and it's fantastic that we're expanding that horizon and continuing to create partnerships with different companies throughout the world, and RushBet.co is a big gaming betting gambling company over in Colombia, so it's fantastic that we can get the name over there, especially, you know, making the most of the James Rodriguez and Yerry Mina links. Really, James Rodriguez is, you know, an absolute godlike figure in Colombia in regards to football, so the more that we can put our name out there in terms of as a football club, the more that people can see the logo and the badge, and obviously the, you know, the brand splattered everywhere, the better it will be, certainly commercially for Everton. So that is fantastic. Everton have this morning released a statement and an update on the situation with Bramley-Moore Docks. I know a couple of people have been commenting on the last couple of weekly news roundups asking for an update, but the reality of the situation is we haven't had an update since November, but we have this morning. They have said that they confirm that they expect that the planning application for the new stadium at Bramley-Moore Dock will be determined within the first couple of months of 2021. This will mean that with government approval, the club are aiming to be on site at Bramley-Moore Dock within the first half of 2021. Stadium Development Director Colin Chung has put out a statement. He said a couple of things. He said achieving a positive planning determination is the next key milestone in this project and unlocks the next phase of work streams we need to complete, with a key focus on confirming the land acquisition, finalising our preferred routes and access to funding, and formalising our relationship with our preferred contractor Lang O'Rourke. He said for many, 2021 will be a period of transition as the world recovers from the impact of a global pandemic, as we will seek the continued rollout of a vaccine. While there is no need to adjust our overall project timeline, I am sure you can appreciate that not everything is directly under our control. We remain on track with our internal plans, and most important thing for us is that we continue to move forward and plan accordingly. We are confident that 2021 will give us the license to move forward by getting the necessary approvals to deliver a once-in-a-generation opportunity for Everton Football Club and the Liverpool City region. So again, really positive update there regarding Bramley-Moore Dock. Like I said, I know a few people were, you know, a little bit worried about what's going on, certainly with the impact of the pandemic, and in terms of financially. We're going to talk about Farhad Moshiri and Everton's financial losses a little bit later on in the video as well. So there was a little bit of panic, there was a little bit of confusion, but it's fantastic that the club have come out there and basically just said, look, everything is still going to plan. Yes, there may be slight delays in terms of getting planning permission because obviously the council are behind on a lot of things, but you know, in terms of getting the spade in the ground, I think is the saying, and getting things going, the club are looking for early 2021 and within the first 6 months of 2021 to really get going with the project. And of course, once the planning permission comes in, then it's in the hands of Lang O'Rourke and the club and the different contractors to just sort of get it sorted then. But it is in the hands of the council at the moment. But they said they don't really expect many big delays, and they don't expect there to be any issues whatsoever. So fantastic that there's an update there from the football club. I know a lot of people were eager to hear that. I know a lot of people were eager to get an update and find out what's going on. So brilliant that we had that this morning. Sky Sports have reported today that Middlesbrough are interested in signing Everton winger Yannick Bolasie on loan in January. Yannick Bolasie, of course, was heavily linked to Middlesbrough and signing for them this summer on loan. However, that deal did fall through on deadline day. From all accounts, the deal was going ahead. Middlesbrough were happy, Everton were happy, the player was happy. However, the transfer just went over the deadline time and therefore was unable to be done. There was disappointment from the player, of course, because he knew that he wasn't in Carlo Ancelotti's plans for the season. Disappointment with Middlesbrough, of course, as well, because they missed out on signing him. But according to Sky Sports, Middlesbrough are looking to come back in for Yannick Bolasie in January on loan. Listen, I think this would work for everybody, to be honest with you. Obviously, it works for Middlesbrough. They clearly still need a player in that position, a player of the ability of Yannick Bolasie, of the quality of Yannick Bolasie. Works for Yannick Bolasie. At the end of the day, listen, I think he's a lovely fella, really down-to-earth lad. Seems like he'll have a conversation with anybody, but, you know, he's clearly not in Carlo Ancelotti's plans for the future. He's clearly not going to get any game time in Everton. He's not even registered at Everton, so even if we did want to give him game time, we couldn't. And I think a move away from the football club for him is best for all parties, really. Everton, in this case Middlesbrough, and the player himself. Looks like he'll go on a loan deal if that deal is made, and then maybe potentially a permanent in the summer. But it's not a surprise that Middlesbrough will be, you know, wanting to come back in for him again. The only reason that transfer didn't happen in the summer was because it was left quite late, and, you know, it ended up tickling over the deadline, so it could not be done. So again, nothing too surprising about that one, but that has come out today. Michael Keane has received a Team of the Week card in FIFA Ultimate Team. If you play FIFA 21 and specifically Ultimate Team, you will know that every week EA release a Team of the Week, which is effectively the players that have performed the best over the last 7 days or so in every league in the world. They all go into a Team of the Week effectively. They get a little bit of a boosted card with their stats boosted a little bit, and you pay a little bit more money for it practically, and it looks a little bit better. Michael Keane has received one of those cards for his performances against Chelsea, and it was actually prior to the Leicester game, so it come out I think just before the Leicester game, but his performance against Chelsea, which was absolutely fantastic. So a big congratulations to Michael Keane. Carlo Ancelotti has had an interview today regarding Everton Football Club and his future at the football club. He was asked, does he want to stay past his contract, which of course will end in 2024. He said, yes, of course I want to stay past 2024, but it doesn't mean we can't be competitive before the end of this contract. We can win trophies before then. We have to continue to improve. He also went on to say, in 1 year we have improved on certain aspects and we have the possibility and the target to improve in others. When I went to Milan in the first period, they wanted to restore the club's history like Everton. Now, this club wants to be competitive with the top teams in the Premier League. I don't know if it will be for this year for sure, but I don't know if it will be this year, but for sure in the future we will be there. The project is very ambitious. We are building the new stadium and improving the quality of the squad. There are all the ingredients to come back to the top, to fight, to be competitive in England and Europe. Now that is obviously very refreshing for Carlo Ancelotti to say. He also spoke on Farhad Moshiri earlier in the week and said, the pressure I have is that he has a lot of confidence in me. He has trust in me because he signed me and he brought me to Everton. I'm doing it to bring his club to the top. That is my goal and what I promised him. So very positive words there from Carlo Ancelotti, and words that I think we all get excited to hear when you've got a manager who is again a serial winner, somebody that has won everything there is to be won in club football. World best manager 3 times, Champions League winner 3 times, won 4 of the top 5 leagues in Europe, won cups everywhere he's been. When you hear a manager like that come out and say, look, I'm contracted to this amount of time at the football club, but I want to stay even further. I want to be here going into the new stadium. I want to see this team win trophies. I want to be the manager of this side when they're winning league titles. It's so refreshing to hear, and especially coming from Carlo Ancelotti, who, if you look at Carlo Ancelotti's previous jobs, he's not really a manager that stays for the long term, and he's come out and said that before. He's come out and said, look, I'll do a couple of years and then I'll see where I am, but it's been very clear from the off from Carlo Ancelotti that he's always said, no, I want to stay past my contract. If they want me, I'm very happy to stay past my contract. He clearly loves where he's living in Crosby because he's constantly talking about it, and he clearly loves the football club and believes that this football club can achieve great things as well, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic to hear. Fantastic to hear that, Farhad Moshiri has got the confidence in him, and that he's promised Farhad Moshiri that he will do everything he can to get this club to the very top. And look, we're reaping the rewards. Even after a bad run of form in the Premier League over the last couple of weeks or so, Everton is still only 5 points away from top of the table. A week before Christmas, still only a point away from Champions League places a week before Christmas as well. So Carlo Ancelotti has massively improved this Everton side, like he said, in certain aspects. In other aspects, there's still a lot to improve, but look, I think we all have complete faith and complete trust in Carlo Ancelotti and his team to do that, and it's fantastic to hear him come out and say that he wants to stay even longer than his contract is signed for. So again, absolutely brilliant interview by Carlo Ancelotti there, and brilliant to hear, isn't it? It was announced earlier on this week that Premier League clubs will be allowed to have 9 substitutions available to them on their bench from match day 14, which is, I believe, this coming match week. The Premier League decided, and clubs in the Premier League decided, not to go with the 5 substitution rule, which of course would allow clubs to make 5 substitutions in a game. However, they did compromise on a couple of things. They said that you can now have 9 subs available for you instead of 7. So 2 extra players on the bench, even though you can still only bring on 3. And there is a new rule stating that you can make a concussion substitution, which is practically, if you've made all 3 substitutions and a player gets involved in a head injury and ends up possibly being concussed, you can substitute them off and bring somebody else on, so you're not playing with 10 men, or so they're not forced to continue the game whilst they're concussed. Again, Look, Carlo spoke on the 5 substitution rule today and said practically there's no need to have 5 substitutions. There's no need for clubs to need to make 5. Football has always been 3. Or at least it has been for a long time. That's, hasn't changed in that time. And practically, if you're worried about the squad and health and the fitness of the squad, then you need to manage it better. And it was sort of, it wasn't a dig at other managers, but it was sort of a basically pick your game up and stop moaning and stop wanting the rules changed and just manage your squad better, manage the fitness better, manage the players better. And that's why we may see changes in this Everton team for the game against Arsenal tomorrow. We spoke about that on the game preview. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. Would really appreciate that. But yeah, that was announced today that Premier League clubs will be allowed 9 substitutions available to them from this coming game week. Fabrizio Romano had some transfer news regarding Everton. Whenever Fabrizio Romano puts out transfer news, you sort of sit up and go, right, okay. This lad usually knows what he's talking about. He has said that Dele Alli can leave Spurs in January and Everton not interested in signing him on a 18-month loan with an option to buy. There was also a rumour earlier on this week, I believe it was from the Mirror, stating that Everton are interested in Harry Winks and Dele Alli from Tottenham. Very interesting, that one again. Not really looking too deep into the Mirror's rumour, but when Fabrizio Romano comes out and links players with Everton, you tend to listen to him because he is a very reliable source. Look, the Dele Alli rumour's been floating around now for a couple of weeks, hasn't it? Again, a lot of sources saying he's unhappy at Spurs. A lot of sources saying Jose Mourinho will be happy to let him go, certainly on loan. And Everton have been a side that he's been linked with. I don't mind Dele Alli, to be honest. I don't think he's a decent footballer. I think he's a tidy footballer. And I actually think he could improve Everton if he come in and really utilised them in his and utilised and played to his strengths. His wages would probably be astronomical, and you don't really see 18-month loans with an option to buy in football anymore. Very rarely do you see them. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if the club were looking at somebody like a Dele Alli to bring in and maybe to add that little bit extra in midfield that we need. We heard the rumours about Isco a few months back, who is a similar sort of player to Dele Alli. So it wouldn't surprise me. And obviously, when somebody like Fabrizio Romano's coming out with it, usually it's quite solid information. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that one. But it's definitely worth looking at. Would you want Dele Alli at Everton Football Club? Would you take him? Let us know in the comment section down below. And the final bit of news from today is regarding Everton's major shareholder Farhad Moshiri. It was announced earlier on this week that Farhad Moshiri is to commit a further £250 million to Everton Football Club via a share issue. This comes after Everton announced a loss of £139.9 million in the last financial year, and the club have stated that 67.3 million of that is attributable to the coronavirus pandemic and the not having fans in the stadium and not being able to sell tickets and all the stuff like that. So with that news that Everton have shown a loss of 139.9 million, Farhad Moshiri has agreed to commit a further £250 million. There was then an announcement by Phil Kirkbride, who said that Farhad Moshiri's investment of Everton will reach 400 million, and Moshiri is now in the position to take his shareholding to over 90%, which will of course give him pretty much all of the control over the football club. Even though he's the majority shareholder now and he has more control than anybody, 90% will really take him up to obviously the last bit in terms of having full control of the football club. Look, I've seen mixed emotions about this. Some fans saying, listen, if you need to commit a further 250 million after we've already spent however many million on the team, it shows that something's not going right. It shows that the club isn't being managed properly. One thing you can't say about Farhad Moshiri is you can't knock his commitment. This fella has put a lot of his own money into this football club and into making Everton Football Club a success. And whether you agree with the people that he's employed in previous reigns in terms of managers or directors of football or even just members of staff to manage the different elements of a football club and ultimately of a business, one thing you can't say is that he's not committed to this football club and he's not committed to invest, and he very clearly is. Again, looking to take his total investment up to 400 million, take his shareholding to 90%, looking to invest a further 250 million, and ultimately Farhad Moshiri 12 months ago went out there and brought one of the best managers ever to manage in football, a serial winner in Carlo Ancelotti, to this football club, and that was done for one reason and one reason only: not to make profits of the football club, not to make it look brilliant on the tax forms or whatever. That was done to make this football club a success and to make us a football club that are winning trophies, that are fighting in Europe, that are fighting for the top competitions. And he's backed Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo's obviously gone in and went, look, I want Allan from Napoli because I think he can come in and do a brilliant job in our midfield. We've gone out and we've signed him. I want James Rodriguez because he's brilliant creatively. We've gone out and signed him. We've signed Ben Godfrey, young player. And that ultimately falls down to the backing of Farhad Moshiri, and I think Farhad Moshiri deserves a lot of credit for that. Whether you agree with every decision he's made or not, whether you think the club's run brilliantly or not, that's a different question. One thing you can't say is that he hasn't committed to, trying to make this football club the best football club on the planet, and that's exactly what we want to see as fans, as well as the stadium project, which is being funded by the club. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's fantastic to see from Farhad Moshiri as well. Anyway, that is it for this week's weekly news roundup. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Please do check out our game preview to our Premier League fixture against Arsenal. That is live on the channel now. You can check that one out. Massive game for Everton Football Club. If you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. We'll be back tomorrow with the instant match reaction and the player ratings to the Arsenal game. Hopefully, it's a very positive one like the last couple. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.